Okay, look. I knew what I was getting myself into when I started this review series, but this was... And the thing is, I heard that 31 is regarded as the worst, if it's not Halloween 2, which even after this, I still think Halloween 2 is his worst because of my love for that franchise, what he did to it. But this wasn't terrible, but it was still bad. There was some good parts to it. I just felt like, especially when we had the ending, and I thought back to some characters, and 31 is regarded as one of his worst, if not the worst of his films. When that came out, that thing got bombed hard. And that's the next one I'm doing. So, you can imagine I'm not thrilled for that. But let me sit down so we can get this started by saying, hello there, I'm Scotty, you're not, and it's time to talk about the Lords of Salem getting back on track after taking a couple of breaks to do a couple of different reviews from this, and then they Scotty tries. But yeah, the Lords of Salem. So this plot crunch here. Sherry Moon Zombie plays a DJ who receives this box with a vinyl record in it. She plays it, and it plays some strange music. She then plays it on a radio station, which we see hypnotizes women all over Salem, Massachusetts, which is where they are. Shortly afterwards, some creepy old ladies show up. She starts seeing weird shit, and Bruce Davidson gets involved, trying to figure out her connection to this reverend from back in the Salem witch trial days, and it all comes together in this weird concert of sort. Okay, so first and foremost, I want to say that while I'm not a big fan of Rob Zombie's movies, and I've watched quite a few of them now, with only 2 so far been ones that I generally really liked. His Halloween remake is okay. The second half, mostly. But I thought maybe his original work would be better. And then I watched his first 2 movies. House of a Thousand Corpses, Devil's Rejects. Like, those are actually pretty good. Then this came along, and I'm like, okay, this was animated. It's not really anything. So I gave this one a chance after, a while. And first mistake was making Sherry Moon Zombie the lead. No, she's not bad. She's not doing the over-the-top baby stuff like in the first 2. It was just annoying. She's boring. She's just there. She's playing a former drug addict, and she's the lead of the film. We follow her through the film, and I think, I don't know if getting a better actress would have even helped this film, to be honest. But because my biggest problem of this film is the ending, because this ending, it feels like with some of the side characters that are placed through that, you think, oh, they didn't do anything to stop her, and then once the ending happens, you're like, oh, it's because Rob Zombie wanted this to be the ending. So the side characters who know something's going on have to be either oblivious or die. So one of my main big positives is Bruce Davidson. I love Bruce Davidson. Anything he's in, he's great. He's been in a lot of TV shows, movies, whatever. Oh, there is something funny. For those of you who know, Bruce Davidson, I almost said Bruce Willis. Bruce Davidson was in a movie back in the 70s called Willard, which was remade in the 2000s with Crispin Glover, which I do have. It's one of the movies I have on the way, so I will be covering that hopefully. But and that's about rats. So there is a scene, Bruce Davidson is introduced, and then like a couple scenes later, there are rats running down Sherry Moon Zombie's hallway in the apartment building. So like, Bruce Davidson, rats. This is Willard. He sent the rats. I don't know. It was just kind of funny. Yeah. Everything except for the character's fate with Bruce Davidson, I liked. I liked it. It was good. He's doing this investigation about, he has So he happens to be the guest on the radio station when they're talking about, stuff when they play the music, and he starts to, notice that the music was kind of weird. His wife has so happened to record it, and so he starts looking through this book, and he finds these notes, and has his wife, who's musically inclined, play them, and they're the exact same notes verbatim, which leads him into investigating this Reverend Hawthorne, you know, and what, he was a proprietor of, burning the witches at the stake. And we find out that the witches, these coven of witches led by Meg Foster's character, kind of cursed him and his family. And then there's a twist. We find out that our lead character here, whose name is Heidi LaRocque, her real name is Adelaide Hawthorne. And props to Bruce Davidson and Rose Amy wrote this. Most movies would be like, her last name's Hawthorne, she's in trouble. They actually have the character look it up on the internet, look up the family tree, and make goddamn sure before doing anything about it. Because here's the thing, most movies would just have him go, Hawthorne, oh shit, and run to do something about it. But, and it's kind of a negative, I guess, but they have him actually look it up and make sure before he doesn't just assume things. I actually kind of like that. But then his character goes to help her, gets immediately swept up by the coven of old ladies, one of those which is Dee Wallace, and old lady witches. Eventually he gets distracted by conversation, and Dee Wallace beats him over the head with the frying pan and then beats him until he's dead. No use for that character, and that's why I feel. And again, there's another character played by Jeff Daniel Phillips. His name is Whitey. His name is Herman. Both of her co-hosts, Jeff Daniel Phillips, Ken Faree, both named Herman, but his name is Whitey, I guess, because it's Rob fucking Zombie. Played by Jeff Daniel Phillips here, and he's sort of like the boyfriend. You can see they have something with each other. He shows up, and shows up, and right away the witches are on the steps preventing him from going up the stairs, and he's like, well, I came to get her, we're doing something tonight. So they do let him up the steps. When he gets there, she's already out of it, and she's like, huh? He's like, man, where are you gonna go? And then Head Witch shows up and is like, I think you should tell him you'll meet him outside. I'll meet you outside. Oh, are you sure? Yes, go. And then he's outside waiting, and they take her out another door, and he sees her, and she's like, bye, because this is the last time she was going to see him. And he's just like, and we don't see him again. He doesn't come in to the amphitheater to help her, nothing. That's the last we see of him. And that's my problem, is the two side characters that are concerned for her end up doing jack shit. Because Rob Zombie had this ending set, this big ending with this crawfish thing, and which is probably the birth of the devil or something, and these naked witches and all this imagery. He had that set in stone, so even though we have to have side characters doing stuff and being concerned about her, they can't amount to anything. They can't actually succeed in doing anything because this has to be the ending. And I think I would have preferred it if she was just the only character here. If she had no family, no friends, she was a loner, she has to diner job or something, or she did a job that wasn't important, or she's a former drug addict, she can't get a job, and she's just living in this apartment. It would explain this woman's a witch that wants to, exploit her because of her connection to Reverend Hawthorne, so it would make sense that she would let her live in there for cheap or free, if she's exploiting her, You could say she's just getting out of rehab. She's a recovering drug addict. She has no place to live. This old lady, she happens to come across this old lady who allows her to stay in her apartment building. I don't have any money. It's okay, Dad. You can stay there till you get up on your feet and get a job, and then you can start paying me. That stuff. And then the weird stuff starts happening. So she has no allies, no friends, no one investigating. And then it happens, and you get your ending like Rob Zombie wanted. That would be... While it would be, I don't know if I would like it any better, it would make more sense than having two side characters one of which is sort of like her boyfriend who really cares about her and doesn't do jack shit. And then you have Bruce Davidson's character who is actively trying to figure out what's going on to help her. And Bruce Davidson gets killed. Jeff Daniel Phillips just doesn't do anything after this. I don't know. I will say though, there's some pretty weird, cool imagery. Rob Zombie's really good with the imagery in this. Still not a lot of naked chicks. I don't know what his obsession is. And there's nothing wrong with seeing a naked woman. Of any shape and size, but it ain't me. A naked woman is a naked woman. Because as the great Ronald White once said, you see one lady naked, you want to see the rest of them naked. I don't care, they can be hanging all the way down to her knees. You want to see me naked? Yes, I do. Alright, that's enough. Rolling back up. So, yeah. There's some great imagery in this. And up until the ending, I should say up until Bruce Davidson gets killed, I was with it. As soon as he gets killed, I'm like, okay, what are we doing here? I thought he was going to save her. And Jack Daniel Phillips shows him, okay, here we go. He's going to save her. No, he's just kind of pushed aside, basically, because they've already got their grips on her. So that's it. Then we get the scene to just, well, the imagery is just great. It's really weird because she's standing on top of this balcony and she takes off her robe or whatever. She takes off her glasses. And then it goes into this weird vision, and she's got her glasses back on again. And I'm like, wait, how does that work? Did he forget she took her glasses off? Was she not supposed to? I don't know. It's really weird. But, I don't know. This movie just didn't do it for me. The acting was great, except for Sherry Moon. Even Sherry Moon Zombie was okay, but she just felt like she was going through the motions with this movie. Like, she was there. Like, I don't know. The scenes where she's drugged out, it felt like she was not really acting. Maybe she was drugged out. I don't know, but there was some weird, kooky imagery in it. Imagery in this. Here we go. Because it's Rob Zombie's movie, we gotta have at least one of these scenes in here. There's a scene where she goes to a church and she talks to a priest, and she's sitting there and she falls asleep. And she has a vision of the priest forcing her to give him a blowjob. You don't see it, obviously. You just see her put her head down there and just do this. And every time he talks, it gets more and more like this. And it's just like, okay, you are literally having your wife in a scene. I don't know, maybe it was a stunt woman. I don't know. Maybe she didn't want to do it. I don't know. But it's your wife's character. We're supposed to believe it's her giving some other dude a fake blowjob on screen. It's like, and being forced to. I mean, it's one thing if it was a sex scene, but like being forced to. Just, why does he have to include rape scenes in his films? It just baffles me. Like, I've seen the theatrical version of Halloween. It's better because of the way, I mean, it's a stupid way that Michael gets out in that film. He just escapes. But it's better than the rapist scene, you know, where, you know. But, yeah, not a fan. I am going to give it a middle of the road, though. And I'll tell you why. Because, like I said, up until the end, I was with it. Minus the blowjob rape scene. I was with it. Okay? Until they just revealed that the two side characters who were trying to help her weren't going to be of any help. And it was like, okay, he wanted this to be the ending, so no matter what these characters did to help. It felt like, okay, he wrote the ending first and said, let's build to it. And it's like, oh, well, we have to have some characters trying to help or they're going to think it's stupid or something. We have to be in a stereotypical horror film. We got a character investigating what's going on. She has a boyfriend character who cares about her. So we have to put those in there. But they're not going to do anything productive. One's going to die, one's just going to let her go. But yeah. Middle of the road. So next is 31. Yay. I haven't heard any good things about 31. So I can't imagine I'm going to like it. But I might. It has Malcolm McDowell in it. But I don't know. So what are your thoughts on the Lords of Salem? Let me know in the comments below. By the way, Covenant witches, they call them the Lords of Salem. You know that a Lord is a man, right? Do you not research that? Rob Zombie, Lord is man. They would be the Ladies of Salem, not Lords. Lords are men. Duh. So what are your thoughts on the Lords of Salem? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I've been Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.